the Mutton Shop Millionaire, Mortimer Blankenship III, the greatest mind in professional wrestling today. And I'm telling you, you are on the channel, the place to be. That's right, Cole TV, baby. And you can take that to the bank. Ha 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 ha!
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60, where we talk about everything that happened in the past week in the world of professional wrestling. I'm XLJ, the OG, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother. This week, I think he's hailing from Hollywood, California, one Mr. B-Roll.
Yes, you can just call me the Hollywood hunk. Oh, wait, I think that gimmick's already taken.
Hollywood Roll. Nope, that's been done too.
Yeah. Malibu's Most Wanted. No, dang it.
Maybe you need to change where you live or where you're coming from next week, I think. The Hollywood thing just didn't fit you.
Okay.
You're not a Hollywood blonde, so.
No, I'm definitely not. I don't think I'd make it in Hollywood. I think they'd chew me up, spit me out.
Think so? No.
Think so.
Well,
I think so.
Hey, you know what? It's not like a whole lot happened this week in the world of wrestling, right? I mean, we don't got a whole lot to talk about, so
yeah.
I guess that's the show, everybody.
I mean, we were actually kind of talking about, we could probably just skip this week, right? I mean,
he says you.
No shocking debuts, no crossovers, no.
Yeah, none of that. So.
No returns, anyways, no nothing. I mean,
I think we've teased him long enough.
Okay.
As you say, Mr. B-Roll.
I say that the clock starts now.
And like you say, it was a big week of debuts, surprises, and so much more. But we are still thinking back to Monday Night Raw this past week as our top story this week. The Wyatt Six finally debut on Monday Night Raw. At the end of the night, they closed out the show, and man, oh man, you talk about cinema. Holy crap. So this is obviously, we've been talking about this. This has been building for weeks now, and on Monday Night Raw, they were here. What are your first thoughts on the Wyatt Six so far?
So, it's been built up for anticipation for weeks, months now, and yet they still over delivered. Like,
right?
It was, and so I loved it through like the whole night because like even like the Then Now Forever thing, right? It was glitchy. It's like something was happening that night for sure. And
yeah, we even reported it on here too. We knew like the Monday Night Raw, the Wyatt Six were going to show up, but we didn't know how, when, or why it was happening. But man, when it did, it was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
It weirdly enough, probably the wrong adjective to use, especially since these are supposed to be like horrific characters, but it was beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's weird. I think our buddy Hambone even like alluded to this too, is it's like you have just a dastardly group, a heel group who is just coming right out of the gate and is like so beloved. But I mean, hey, this was Wyndham Rotunda's vision, so we're just getting started. But man, oh man, what a start! The outfits, all of them, they look great, man. Like just the reasoning behind like each each of them with the characters, playing off of the Firefly Funhouse. You've got like a Huskus come to life, and Ramblin' Rabbit, and Mercy the Buzzard, and of course Sister Abigail, and of course Uncle Howdy. So also too, a little play on the words with the Wyatt 6 and not the number 6. There's a lot of theories going out here, Mr. B-Roll, about who the 6th person is. I wanted to get your thoughts on what do you think of that, or is there a 6th person? I mean, I have an opinion, and I think it's kind of like what a lot of other people are thinking too.
Yeah, and I think we're in agreement that the 6th person is
Bray Wyatt. Yeah, and he's right there in the lamp. I think his spirit is in the which that's pretty cool, man. I'm excited to see where they go with this, man. I almost hearken this debut of a stable back to the Carnage that was caused years ago by the Nexus group when they debuted. But WWE is going to have to follow up big time and just let them cook, man. Let them cook. I think we're about to finally find out, now on like what Bo Rotunda really like get into his like greatness, which I mean he was great before like in NXT and stuff as Bo Dallas and stuff, and some of the other stuff he did on the main roster, but now doing a complete 180 and doing this for his brother. He's got massive shoes to fill, but I think he will fill them. But I loved every bit of it, the cinematics, like the scenes, the way it was shot and stuff. But the big thing, one of the big things, the big questions coming out of Monday Night Raw is who the hell all was attacked? I mean, we know Chad Gable was attacked, but it was kind of hard to see with Carnage going on. But thankfully, somebody on this show actually was paying close attention to detail about what happened this past week.
Okay. They're going to clarify it for us?
They're going to clarify who exactly was attacked. So therefore, let's go to our good friend, the Best Gout Machine, with confirmation of who all was attacked by the Wyatt 6.
P-Dub City. It's the Notorious BGM here, and I don't know about you, but man, I was floored by that Wyatt 6 debut. And I was even more floored by all the carnage that was wrecked backstage in the Curl position. Full of people, names that we know and love, and people who were like, we're squinting. Who the hell was devastated by the attack from the Wyatt 6? Obviously, Chad Gable's one of them, but you know what? I got glasses. I could see more. Let me show you who else I saw in that backstage segment, as well as others you may not have noticed. As you can tell from the crimson mask being worn here by Braun Strowman, this gentle giant was attacked by those rabbit-eared monsters. Our sweet, sweet Sami Zayn was also manhandled by those monstrosities. Lord knows if we can find out whatever happened to El Generico and if he's safe. Harmless Girl Scouts were in the backstage area, and they too, as well as their cookies, were harmed. And not only were these girls harmed, well, so was Shania Twain! Canadian sensation and a household name. God, what the hell was she doing back there? Sexy Red became even redder because she's still hanging around the backstage area of WWE even after NXT Battleground. Donald Sutherland. Wait, he wasn't there. And finally, Drake. Wait, sorry. That was not from the Wyatt attack. Evidently, after the Kendrick Lamar concert, he just naturally busted open after the 5th time of Not Like Us played. What? Bye, guys! They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
My gosh, I don't think I've ever seen so much blood in my life. I hope we don't get banned off YouTube. Well, thank you, Best Scout. We appreciate that info. It's very important to know who all got attacked in those brutal attacks on Monday Night Raw.
He could easily open up his own like private investigation, like organization. I mean, easily.
Yeah. Oh man, no doubt about it. I would totally pay Best Scout to get to the bottom of things. Well, you know what? The Wyatt 6 had a busy week this week, B-Rolls. They weren't just done with Raw. Oh, no. as on the Thursday and Friday editions of the Pat McAfee show, the White Six had a little fun at the hands of one Pat McAfee. What do you think of this? Like, kind of these signs, they didn't actually attack McAfee, or at least that we know of, but still, showing up with like a drone and cutting out like the interview for Pat McAfee had going on and stuff. Like, I don't know. What do you think of this Wyatt Six stuff crossing over into the Pat McAfee show?
Well, it's hitting close to home, if you would say so.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee
back
with
of
his
our
studio
hometown.
right in Indianapolis, Indiana. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Well, nonetheless, the Wyatt Six are here, and they're all over the place, and you got to watch out, man, because you just never know where they're going to pop up. I tell you what, B-roll, I think, honestly, I'm so scared and startled by all this. I could really use some good, friendly advice from your local neighborhood Dad Hat. So let's go to Dad Hat with Dad Hat's tip of the week.
It's that time of the week again. Dad Hat's Life Lessons of the Week. Brought to you by World Championship Wreckage. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And also by the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. every Wednesday, twitch.tv/Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. And now, here's Dad Hat.
All right, kids, always remember, after you commit insane chaos and destruction around those you work with, afterwards, you always go to Whataburger.
That's what we call getting out Whataburgered.
What a burger!
Just like you like it.
Oh, that's not wrong, apparently. Yes, the Wyatt Six. I'm sorry, but this just cracks me the hell up, man. Like, break a kayfabe, brother. Damn. But no. The Wyatt Six here, seen with the fan, decided, you know what, after like murdering a bunch of innocent people, or maybe they weren't so innocent according to them, but in the WWE, why not go get Whataburger? I mean, it had to cause like a sensation, like of an appetite for them, don't you think, B-roll?
Yeah, I mean, carnage equals Whataburger. Like,
Right, yeah.
never had Whataburger.
All right, hot take. I know I'm going to take it out there from you big Whataburger diehards, but you're not missing much. I said what I said. You know what? Would I give them a try again? Sure, but I tell you what, if I'm ever in the Jacksonville, Florida area, I'm not trying them because it sucked when I was there. I said what I said. But nonetheless, you know what? Monday Night Raw, though, this past week, it was a loaded show because that's not all that happened, Mr. B-roll. How about this? The return of Seth freaking Rollins to Monday Night Raw. How surprised were you to see Seth already back in the WWE ring?
Well, we were a little bit shocked. Pulling the curtain back, we were. I had just finished PW60. Mm-hmm. We're still chatting. Had turned on.
Had it on and like, oh, here's Seth.
Well, yeah, to kick off Monday Night Raw, Seth freaking Rollins coming back, and we wouldn't take us long to find out, because we were like, oh, it seems like he's gonna announce for like
Money in the Bank.
Want to declare for Money in the Bank, but no, he's not Senior Money in the Bank anymore. What the heck's he calling himself now?
Here, calling him the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, but what do they call, like, I don't know. El Champion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the boss. That's who he is. The boss in charge of Monday Night Raw. But yeah, Damian Priest coming out, pretty much challenging Seth Rollins to a matchup at Money in the Bank where they will meet for that World Heavyweight Championship. But man, happy to see Seth back. Obviously, he's healed up and back at 100%. So this should be exciting to see. Great addition great to have him back in the fold on Monday Night Raw. 'Cause,
So,
man,
so I
Raw
have
is
I have
red
I
hot
have a new
now.
theory as well. I have a new theory.
What's that?
Not Austin theory. I'm gonna save that for Brie. But do you think that Seth Rollins discovered like some of like what's in Wolverine? Because how in the world did he heal up so fast?
I don't know. Maybe he's got mutant powers. Who knows? But nonetheless, Seth freaking Rollins is back on the scene, and we're happy to see him. I can't wait to see him back in the ring on Monday Night Raw. But man, Raw, dude, this was like one of the best Raws in years. Honestly, it was such a good show. So much happened on this show. You had the breaking up essentially of Alpha Academy. We had Money in the Bank qualifying matches as Io Sky would qualify for the women's Money in the Bank, as well as Jey Uso qualifying for the men's Money in the Bank. How about that matchup with Sheamus against Braun Breaker? And then, my God, man, that spot with Braun Breaker spearing the living hell out of God, I wanted to just call him Kaiser Sosa. What was the other? Liquid Kaiser, yes. Sorry, man. I just have like a brain fart tonight on this episode. I don't know why. Can't think of names. You get old.
Okay.
It's
okay.
It happens.
Hey, I couldn't think of what Damian Priest was called.
Yeah, and I still can't think of it either, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But anyways, we can only handle so much wrestling. People lay off us. But yeah,
Drew McIntyre quit.
Drew McIntyre quit on Raw. Like, so much stuff, and the Liv Dom stuff going on as she was wearing his like little fur like vest all night. Man, and to end it the way they did with the Wyatt 6 debut, like Raw was a freaking loaded show, man. But WWE this week, I could say equivalently hit a grand slam because there was a bunch of other big news that happened this week too in WWE, and we got to talk about this next.
Yeah.
Finally, the debut of the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, as he showed up at the end of SmackDown to help out Solo Sikoa to join him in the bloodline. But let's just go ahead and say this. Like, would you say this is probably one of the best debuts we've seen in a long time? Because Jacob Fatu come out and just single-handedly annihilated the top 3 baby faces on SmackDown, including your WWE champion, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. He like I kept thinking like, okay, like Solo's just sitting there. Like just sitting there. I was like he's taking them literally all out, all by himself. And yes, for those of you who just got introduced to Jacob Fatu, he is that good.
And then some. I mean, I think the way obviously it had been talked about that he had pretty much signed a contract with WWE like after WrestleMania. But I think waiting this long to put him on television was smart. It gave us time to kind of build up Solo as this kind of like face of this new bloodline, and you get introduced to Tama Tonga Loa, have them kind of run roughshod, and then now we've got like the serious badass of this bloodline quartet, man, and watch out the rest of the WWE because this bloodline is scary looking, and they may not be done yet. B-roll, they may be adding another member or two here. But yeah, I think the Jacob Fatu debut, it doesn't get much better than this. They literally put him over as the badass that he truly is. And I can't wait to see him actually compete in a WWE ring. Because like you're saying, B-roll, y'all ain't seen nothing just yet with one Jacob Fatu. So he's going to kill it. Literally on Friday nights. Let's talk about the rest of SmackDown, though, which was a loaded show from Chicago. We had some Money in the Bank qualifiers, as well as that moment with CM Punk and Paul Heyman, man. And then let's talk about it. Drew McIntyre showing up and pretty much unaliving CM Punk in his hometown in Chicago. A little bit of a payback for what happened at the Clash at the Castle, would you say?
Yep, you come into my house, you make a fool out of me. I'm going to come into your house and make a fool out of you.
And that's exactly what he did. But we mentioned we had some money in the bank. Oh, well, yeah, I can't forget about the LA Knight Logan Paul confrontation, which, yeah, I'm thinking we're going to see this at possibly, I don't know, you may see it at Money in the Bank, but it may be SummerSlam. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
It's
that's the confusing part because we're definitely like we're building towards both, right? Because both are in the distance. So like this has to be a SummerSlam matchup, though, right?
I feel like it probably will, or they may have a match at Money in the Bank and then a rematch at SummerSlam or something like that.
So would
Something's
that mean
gotta
I'm
go.
still right, or
I didn't say anything about a rematch.
what they'd still be facing each other?
No, I didn't
title.
say anything about a rematch, though.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens, my friend. But we talked about Money in the Bank qualifier, so we know Andrade is going to has qualified for the men's Money in the Bank, as well as Carmelo Hayes joining up with Bros, Jey Uso, and on the women's side of things, we had a little bit of a surprise. I'm all for it, baby, because one Chelsea Green. I did that terribly, I know, but nonetheless, Chelsea Green would win her women's Money in the Bank qualifier, and thus she is in the women's Money in the Bank matchup. And because of that, she is our wrestler of the week here on PW60 is one Chelsea Green. I'm so happy she's in the Money in the Bank. I hope she wins it. I really do. I think she truly deserves it and she could do so much with that Money in the Bank, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. I mean, she really hawk tooth spit on that thing, and
Hey, had to get one in.
Yeah, had to get one in. She's in the Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Let's talk about this though. Let's talk about one thing. Love the decision here, but like in each of the matchups, right? So you had Andrade qualifying, you had Carmelo qualifying, right?
Yeah.
Did it get a little redundant for you of like the person you expected to win, like somehow got screwed out of it, like a even on the announcers, like, well, Randy Orton, he's got to be the favorite in this match, yada yada yada. That was like kind of the story in each of those qualifying matches.
I guess I didn't really think about it that way, to be honest with you, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
But
so it didn't bother me.
That was my glass half empty point of view of it. My glass half full point of view of it is this is what Money in the Bank is for. It's supposed to put over take someone to the next level. So
yep,
I support it as well.
I agree, man. I totally agree. And man, oh man, NXT was cooking this past Tuesday too. Holy shit. As not one, but two TNA wrestlers would show up in that 25-man battle royal. Of course, we have Frankie Kazarian, but let's just talk about, say his name and he will appear. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry was in the battle royal on NXT, but a lot of controversy coming out of this one. A lot of people not too happy because he didn't last too long in that battle royal. What'd you think, B-Roll?
Yeah, I mean,
sorry about that.
You're okay. You're professional. You took the mic out of the way. 100% professional. Yeah. So I feel like me and you, as we discussed this week, I feel like we kind of had like our first wrestling argument, if you will, because you saw it one way, I saw it another. We kind of agreed to disagree, and it's not even him. It wasn't even the Joe Hendry thing for me, because yeah, like he cut that promo. It's like it was what was going to happen, right? After he cut that promo.
Yeah.
But like, I just so far in this merger relationship, whatever, not a merger, this partnership, if you will, I feel like TNA is giving this, and WWE is giving like this.
I'm not shocked by it. I mean, not in the least bit. I mean, I kind of look at it differently. I totally get it. I mean, I'll be the first man. I was pissed off he was one of the first eliminated. I thought that was bullshit. But at the same time, too, watching it back, you see, okay, so Kazarian's actually one that does the elimination. Kazarian and Joe Hendry are feuding right now in TNA, so that part of it makes sense. Joe Hendry got his moment in it, though. Kazarian was in the match for the Final Four, so kudos to him for that. But yeah, I was never expecting really Jordynne Grace to honestly beat Roxanne. I thought it would have been cool. Well, on paper, I definitely think she's a better wrestler by far. But yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like, okay, WWE's giving so much, but here's the thing too: you got to look at what WWE is giving back to TNA, and some people may be questioning this, like, well, they're not doing shit for it. Well, I mean, there's more and more eyes on TNA wrestling right now than there has been in months. Let's call a spade a spade. So if you look at that rating that's going on with them right now, and I mean, also too, this just adds more to the legacy of Joe Hendry, because this was I believe this was the Joe Hendry NXT debut was the highest viewed video on the WWE's YouTube page, even higher than the Wyatt 6 debut.
It even passed that. So,
which that tells you something. I mean, and WWE is like, okay, now they know. If anything that's going to hurt the TNA from this is WWE like, oh shit, we need Joe Hendry here ASAP. So I don't know how much more he's got on his contract, but I think you would be crazy not to try to sign him.
Yeah.
And we've said it here on the show week in and week out on Joe Hendry. He should be the next TNA champion. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that
definitely.
needs to happen sooner rather than later, in my opinion. But I don't know. I look at it as like, I mean, it's getting them a bunch of exposure, but I totally get it where people coming from. But the thing is like, I mean, were you expecting Joe Hendry to come in and win the Battle Royal? No, I mean, I would love for him, but it's not going to happen. Were you expecting Jordynne Grace to win the NXT Women's Championship? No. But I also, like I say, I get it too. It would have been nicer if he was in the match longer, but I think it adds to that story with him and Kazarian. So you just got to keep that in mind. So.
Right. And
the thing is, this isn't the end of this with WWE.
True.
TNA.
True.
We're going to see plenty more.
Now
of
he's
this.
Joe Hendry's teasing Heat Wave and all this and all that. But the reason I brought up our discussion earlier in this week, at the end of the day, are we still friends?
Yeah.
Yes. See, people, you can agree to disagree, and you can still be friends.
It's okay. Let's talk about the rest of NXT from this past Tuesday night, because as we said, we did have a 25-man battle royal for the number one contender. Were you surprised with the outcome? Javon Evans winning the battle royal? I did not see that one coming. They're pushing him off early, aren't they?
Yes, they are. As we've echoed our sentiments many times, we feel like he's just Wesley Jr. But
no disrespect, but I mean, it's
no disrespect.
There's nothing about him that's really like sticks out to me. Honestly, he's a talented athlete, but that's about it.
It's just kind of like here's what I feel. I feel like you took Wesley, you put him on a copy machine, and then out came Javon Evans.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. But so he won the battle royal or whatever we're calling these things nowadays. But what I want to talk about is that shot towards the end, right?
Oh yes, with Ethan Page, Javon Evans, Sean Spears, and Trick Williams all kind of laid out in the NXT title in the middle of the ring.
Yes, beautifully shot.
Yeah, and we know what that's leading to, I think, at Heatwave. I think we're getting a 4-way. Wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Yeah. Which now that to me makes more sense and is more appealing, honestly, than a one-on-one just yet. I mean, build the guy up a little bit more. Come on, in my opinion. But also, we got the first NXT North American Women's title defense took place as Kalani defended against Mishin and retained her North American Women's Championship. Also got to see Roxanne and Lola Vice in tag action, going up against Metaphor and, of course, JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. And how about Chase U picking up that win over the OC? Poor OC, but I'm happy for Chase U because Chase U is one of my favorite acts, if I'm being honest. And man, I don't know about Wendy Chu, man. She's freaking me out, man. This new look, this new persona. I don't know, man. I kind of miss the happy-go-lucky, like let's just take naps and not try to, I don't know, unalive people. I'm just saying. A lot of unaliving going on this week in the world of wrestling, man. What's up with that, bro? But nonetheless, we are on the precipice of Money in the Bank coming up live Saturday, July 6th, from Toronto. And we do know that Seth Rollins will return to in-ring action to going up against Damian Priest for that World Heavyweight Championship. And we know the men's and the women Money in the Bank matchups. Like we said earlier, we know Io Sky and Chelsea Green are in the women's ladder match. And Carmelo Hayes, Jey Uso, and Andrade will compete in the men's ladder match for Money in the Bank. Can't believe it's already Money in the Bank is almost here, man. It's like hard to believe.
I know. We had a great episode of Learning the Ropes this past week where we talked about the history of Money in the Bank.
You can catch the replay here now.
Hey, cheap plug. So knowing what we know, you asked us a question to close there on who do you think is winning this year. So knowing what we know now, how do you feel? Like, who do you think's winning?
So my predictions on that show, I think I went with Jey Uso and Tiffany Stratton. I'm still going to stick by that. I would love Chelsea Green to win the women's though, but I think it's going to be Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I think the men's is Jey Uso. I think it.
I do too.
It has to.
Yeah, I mean we still got some more qualifiers, but yeah, I think it's going to be Jey Uso. But we'll find out in a couple weeks, man. So. We know what, B-roll. I think it's that time of the show. We need to spice things up a bit. Let's go to Spicy Guac with a spicy take.
We have had WCW versus WWF. We have had ECW versus XPW. We've had New Japan versus All Japan. We've even had AEW versus WWE. But the only war that we really do not talk about, and it should be highlighted, nay, it should be sung from the mountaintops, is everybody hating on Dave Meltzer because it is fantastic. His misinformation is hot garbage, and I still don't understand why people pay for his nonsense garbage. And he's disputed fact after fact after fact after fact after post after fact, and then he's just nullified, and it is grandiose. I am all for it. I hope this man just disappears from the internet for a while. Dave Meltzer can suck balls.
It was a spicy take, but you know what? We here at PW60, we definitely are on board and approve of that message. So just saying. Well, hey, man, WWE was killing it this week, but we got to talk about AEW too, who, hey, they're on the road to Forbidden Door, man. It's literally coming up this Sunday. But there's a lot cooking going on in All Elite Wrestling right now. And let's start with this, the announcement of the men's and women's Owen Hart tournament brackets. So on the men's side, we have Claudio Castagnoli go up against Pac this past week on Dynamite. And we did find out Bryan Danielson will meet Shingo Takagi from New Japan Pro Wrestling, what will be a tremendous matchup. And that match will take place at Forbidden Door. We also found out Rey Fenix will be going up against Jay White. And in the final matchup, Jeff Jarrett will be going up against a mystery opponent.
Ooh.
What do you make of the men's side of the Owen Hart tournament here, my friend? I like it personally. And let me just say this real quick, the whole Jeff Jarrett stuff, anybody bitching about it, like, you need to go back and look at the history of wrestling because, yes, Jeff Jarrett was not only a close friend of one Owen Hart, also former tag team partner, tag team champion with Owen Hart. So it makes all the more sense. There's actually a video package out there of Jeff Jarrett talking about what this tournament means to him. So, and I got to tell you, after watching it, there's a part of me like I'm really pulling for him to go really far in the tournament. But it's going to be interesting to see who that wild card is, though, because I think you and I kind of have an opinion and idea who that possibly could be.
Who could be? Yes, indeed. I'm excited for the Bryan Danielson, Shingo Takagi match. Excited to see what Jay White does in this.
Yep. But who do you think's the mystery partner or mystery opponent?
You want to say it at the same time?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Nigel
Nigel
McGuinness.
McGuinness.
That's right. I think it's Nigel McGuinness too. I think you get a Nigel Danielson final, which maybe that's me being a greedy wrestling fan, but I don't know. I'd be happy with a Jarrett Danielson final. I think at the end of the day, we all kind of, with the winner of this getting a shot at AEW champion at All In, I think it's going to be Danielson. I mean, it makes sense. And we'll talk about what happened in that Pac-Claudio matchup here in just a moment. But let's talk about the women's side of things, as that bracket was released as well. We have Willow Nightingale going up against Serena Deeb, which that match took place on Rampage. Chris Statlander and Nyla Rose met on Dynamite this week. And then on the flip side here, we got Deonna Purrazzo, your girl, going up against former AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida. And rounding it out, Mariah May going up against Saraya, which should be an interesting matchup. We already know one semifinal, which isn't a shocker, which we'll talk about that in a minute. Who do you think's going to win the woman's side of thing? I mean, I think we kind of talked about this going into it. I think it's Mariah May. It makes sense. You get that student versus the teacher matchup.
I kind of wondered if we would get a like Willow Chris final, but obviously that's not how the bracket shook out because they're on the same side. Would love to see the Virtuosa win it, but I think for the story, I think with the guaranteed title shot, I do think it's Mariah May.
Yeah, I think so too. Or Saraya could do it too. I mean, back in her home country, she did it last year at All In. So, but both these tournaments look exciting, and they are taking place now on AEW television. Don't forget that tournament final coming up July 10th in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. But let's talk about the rest of let's talk about the rest of AEW Dynamite from this past week. And yes, we mentioned Pac and Claudio met, and Pac would advance against Claudio Castagnoli, getting a little bit of revenge there from last year. Also, Chris Statlander would beat Nyla Rose to advance in the women's side of things. Opened up the show with the in-ring return of MJF as he went up against Roosh in a pretty violent matchup. The Acclaimed defeated the Young Bucks in a eliminator match, so now they got a future shot at the World Tag Team titles. But I know what you're begging to talk about. What about that moment with Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay?
What if I want to make this personal?
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say. I mean, it's big fight feel.
It really does. Like, if it didn't have a big fight feel before, it sure as hell does now, man, with that promo, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's Prince Nana being the voice of reason. I mean, like, this is not the time and place. And then, yeah. I mean,
happening. We are literally on a collision course between the two hottest stars in AEW right now, and like, this is honestly the shot in the arm that AEW so desperately needs. It's going to happen at Forbidden Door, man, because that's going to be a hell of a main event.
Easily the top two baby faces, right?
Undoubtedly. Not only that, like, the top two wrestlers in AEW today by far. I mean, it's their two most popular guys. I don't think there's ifs, ands, or buts about it with Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, man. So, but man, that matchup at Forbidden Door coming up on Sunday is going to be amazing. I cannot wait. But let's talk about Rampage from Friday night. Once again, dude, I'm telling you, Rampage, I really feel like is back on track finally of being a fun, watchable, and successful show. And this past week's Rampage was a loaded one too, as you had Private Party going up against Grand Metalik and Commander. Ray Phoenix was in action. Great to see Shingo Takagi on screen, man, as he went up against AR Fox. Leo Rush defeated Action Andretti to qualify for the TNT title ladder match, which I gotta be honest, a little surprised with that. But
He
Of
can do
course.
flippy stuff.
Well, I'm not surprised with that, but I don't know. I wasn't thinking of him for that matchup, but you hit the nail on the head. And of course, you had the matchup with Serena Deeb and Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale defeating Serena Deeb, and yes, it will be Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander, the former best friends, meeting in the semifinals of the Owen Hart tournament. And let's talk about Collision from this past Saturday. Collision, I felt like, was a better show than last week, if I'm being honest. It felt, I don't know, it was a better flow of a show to me, in my opinion, than from last week. But this new trios team of Shibata, Samoa Joe, and Hook, man, like that trios division is really heating up. But what do you make of these three guys together? I kind of like
Shibata's the best part of it.
Oh yeah.
The what do they call it? Like this, the Google Speak or whatever.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay, am I crazy? But the Private Party Learning Tree matchup from this past week, did Jericho purposely work that match like an indie matchup that the critics would like piss on because of all the false finishes and stuff? Did you get that vibe from that? Like, this isn't like a typical like a Jericho Big Bill match. This is like I felt like, okay, they're working this style like purposely. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy, right?
You're spot on.
Okay. Just once again, I say what you will, but I love this learning tree gimmick that Jericho's doing, man. It's once again, Jericho has evolved yet again, whether you love him or hate him, folks. Also got to see Tony Storm and Mariah May in tag team action. House of Black was in action this past week as well. Will Ospreay retained his AEW International Championship against Brian Cage. And we got to see Kazuchika Okada was in action as well, going up against Ultimo Guerrero. By the way,
never a bad thing.
Okada from Wednesday night, stopping the Acclaim's rap with like that look like, oh no, I'm sorry, bitch. Like, oh my god, I love Okada. Okada has money, literally.
That's all he's got to do.
Yeah, he is literally like a license to print money. God, I love Okada, man. So, but like I say, we are on the precipice of Forbidden Door. It is looking to be a loaded show coming up to you this Sunday. And don't forget, later this week on Cole TV to check out our Forbidden Door prediction show. We will break down the entire card and give you our thoughts and what we think is going to happen this Sunday at Forbidden Door. Well, let's talk about this past Thursday night over on TNA Impact. Another amazing week for TNA, man. Like, first and foremost, the date, PCO going out with Steph, man. I mean, she's got some, Bride of Frankenstein vibes going here, man. I'm digging it. I'm not going to say anything else to embarrass myself, but yeah. What'd you think of Impact from this past week, my friend?
Another solid show. I still freaking hate the system.
I was like, has anybody stopped the system? They're just running roughshod, man. Like, there's more. Like, you got the Hardys there now. You got the Nemeth brothers there. You got Joe Hendry. Something's got to give at some point, right? All right.
Let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the good.
All right. Well, let's talk about the main event, as it was a Slammiversary qualifier matchup with Josh Alexander going one-on-one against Eric Young. This was an all-time classic. And guess what? It's our match of the week here on PW60. This matchup, anytime Josh Alexander's involved in anything, it's great. But against Eric Young, against one of the TNA originals, man, God, it just goes to show you like how great Eric Young is, and he can still go, man. And this was an awesome matchup, just like a classic matchup of just like two guys at the top of their game, just beating the holy hell out of each other. Of course, Josh Alexander picking up the win. But like we say, Josh Alexander, versus EY Eric Young from TNA Impact this week is our match of the week here on PW60. And we say it all the time. If you're not doing so, you need to check out freaking Impact Wrestling every Thursday. I mean, it is, they're killing it right now. And with this exposure from the WWE, it's just getting better and better each and every week, folks. Well, this happened over the weekend, B-roll. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido happened at the Rigoku Hall in Japan. And man, oh man, Moxley bled buckets yet again. Like, how much blood can this guy bleed, for God's sakes? I know it's his thing, but damn. This was a violent matchup with Josh Barnett in the main event. Went time limit draw, and then they actually went an extended 5 more minutes, and Mox would pick up the win. But holy shit, this was a solid lineup. If you like combat sports and you like strong style, go check the replay of this out on Triller TV. It will not disappoint, man. But this Bloodsport event was awesome. Also, it's great seeing Rampage Jackson, too. I've always loved Rampage Jackson, man. One of my favorite UFC fighters of all time. But like I say, you can catch a replay of this over on Triller TV. Got a little bit of an update here on some injuries. First and foremost, Asuka. It does look like she went ahead and had her surgery done. So as was seen recently on one of her vlogs for her YouTube channel. So she is in recovery. We hope that recovery goes well and we get to see Asuka in a WWE ring very soon here in the near future. And also got a little bit of an update on Kota Ibushi, who's been out for a while with his shoulder injury. I think he said he's now at 85%, which I don't know how accurate that is considering it's Kota Ibushi and like he's a crazy man and his 85% could be like his arms barely held on with like silly string. So who really knows when he's coming back? But when he does come back, I hope he is 100% and healthy. So be on the lookout for him here on down the road. And we got some news coming out of the WWE this week as looks like Kayla Braxton is leaving the WWE. Of course, Kayla Braxton, known as a backstage interviewer, big part of the bump on WWE, but looks like she's going to go out into the land where you're from this week in Hollywood to do some things. So congratulations to her, and hopefully maybe we see her again somewhere down the road in the WWE. But I thought she was a great job that she did in the WWE, and I think she will be missed. But like I say, here at PW60, we want to wish Kayla Braxton all the best in her future endeavors. And this, oh my, can you believe it, B-roll? The tribal chief, Roman Reigns, has officially unfollowed Solo Sikoa on Instagram.
Oh my goodness.
I know the shit is getting real. What the hell is going on? How is Solo Sikoa going to recover from this? I don't know what to think. Do you?
I don't know. I mean, Solo said that Roman's never coming back.
Yeah,
so.
Remember, Solo said Roman's never coming back, so it makes me wonder. I don't know, but interesting as the bloodline turns yet again here to see what ramifications could come from Roman Reigns unfollowing Solo Sikoa. Speaking also on bloodline stuff that's going on, apparently WWE has trademarked Caesar Sikoa. Huh?
Hail Caesar!
Only thing I could think of is like, okay, is this Hikuleo's new name? Is he gonna be a Sikoa now? That doesn't kind of make sense, but whatever. Like, surely they're not gonna change Solo's name to Caesar Sikoa, are they? Are they gonna play off of like freaking that new Planet of the Apes movie, you know, and be like, "It's a wonderful day, hail Caesar"? Like you said, like, is that what we're going with? Like, what the hell is this? Who is Caesar Sikoa? Is another bloodline member we're not aware of? Like, how many damn annoying family members are there, man? They're just coming out of the woodwork, man.
I have no Caesar. Maybe it's gonna be like an elder. Who knows?
I don't know, but some more is cooking with the bloodline. That's for sure, man. And hey, this is pretty cool. Let's talk about this. Swerve Strickland currently there is a documentary in the works about his rise to the top in AEW Dynamite, or I mean in AEW in general. And I believe it's in association with I can't remember the name of the rapper or somebody that he's collabed with before on a music project, I believe. But that's kind of cool, man. I don't want to see a documentary. I mean, what a time to follow his career too, because I mean, it's just been like, I mean, you could easily say Swerve Strickland maybe he's the wrestler of the year so far. Maybe. I mean, he's had a hell of a 2024, that's for damn sure. So, really would be interesting to see that documentary coming out on Swerve here in the near future. And speaking of Swerve Strickland, this was huge news. As he was announced, he will be competing at House of Glory, and he will go one-on-one against wrestling legend, the Amazing Red. This is going to be awesome, man. I cannot wait to see this matchup. And House of Glory is one of the top independent promotions going out there. And we say it all the time here on PW60. If you're not supporting independent wrestler, man, you really need to get out there and do. And if you're curious about some shows to watch, well, guess what? We got a segment here on the show called our Indie Report, and it's about that time. We're going to go to our good friend, our brother, one Michael J. Duplessis with an Indie Report. Check this out.
What up, y'all? It's your Michael here with another independent wrestling report. First off, we have Coliseum Pro Wrestling presents Clash in the Coliseum Friday, August 2nd at the Elks Lodge, 265 Main Street, West Haven, Connecticut. Doors open at 7 p.m. Bell time is at 7:30. Coliseum Pro Wrestling on all social medias for more ticket information thus far. Secondly, we have Prestige Wrestling July 12th at the Viking Pavilion at Portland State University. PrestigeWrestling.com for information on that. That's going to be their biggest event so far. And if you're not in the Portland, Oregon area, I want to say that it will be free on their YouTube page, Prestige Wrestling. Again, that is July 12th. Secondly, we have Maryland Championship Wrestling presents the annual Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup at the R.J. Meyer Arena. That is going to be at 1000 Joppa Farm Road, Joppa, Joppa. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correct. And Joppa, Maryland, Saturday, July 13th. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7:30. More ticket information on that is at mcwprowrestling.com.
There you have it. Some independent wrestling you need to be checking out there, especially if you're in that area. And hey, speaking of independent wrestling, we found out this week too, one of the best indie wrestlers out there today is apparently still a free agent, as it does appear that Megan Bayne has not, nor had she ever signed with AEW. So she is very much a free agent. If I'm WWE or Impact or anybody, I am salivating at the chance to sign Megan Bayne, man. She is like one of the best female performers going today, man. She has an amazing look. The persona she carries, man, and her in-ring work is awesome, man. I got the privilege of getting to see her live and in person at the Stardom show in Philadelphia this year, and I can tell you, man, she is worth the hype and then some. So it blows my mind that nobody's signed her yet. So Megan Bayne is a free agent, which is exciting. Also, this came out this week too. You remember when Kevin Kelly got fired from AEW for kind of some controversial thoughts, or not really controversial? Well, anyways, comes to find out from the former employee that yes, Mr. Kelly will in fact be suing AEW for being let go like he was. Not really shocked here. Are you, B-Roll?
I have no idea what to say on this.
Yeah.
Because when he was fired, it was a little bit shocking, but it was just like, okay. But yeah, interesting to see what comes of this.
Yeah, it will be interesting indeed to see what comes from Kevin Kelly suing AEW. Speaking of AEW, though, they may have a lot of money on their hands because they're doing shoe deals now. And now they have a deal with Reebok. And one of the next shoes they could be producing is actually a tribute shoe to the late, great Brody Lee, which I think is awesome. But we're sneakerheads.
The shoe sucks.
This is the most basic, bland shoe. I do not like this. I love Brody Lee, and I would probably buy them. But I mean, come on, can we please change the design here a little bit? Like it's just very bland. I get you got the colors from the Dark Order, but need a little bit more here, in my opinion. And I mean, some could even argue too, like the Young Bucks shoe isn't that great either, honestly. Other than the fact that it's a pump, but I don't know, man. Just not knocking my socks off, if I'm being honest. But speaking of AEW, this is a crazy story that came out this week. Shane McMahon, the Shane McMahon, supposedly has reached out to some in AEW to talk about potentially working for All Elite Wrestling. A McMahon in AEW? Could this really happen, B-Roll?
It's probably just Vince hacking Shane's email again.
Yeah, or something else. I don't know. Like, I could see it happening, but I also think, too, it's like too little too late, honestly. Like, I mean, I don't know what you would do with Shane other than have him as an on-screen character or something. And I don't know. I don't think it would be as impactful as it would have been like a year ago. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy. This is random, completely out of left field. And you know we love randomness on this show. Speaking of which, let's go to Brian with Brian's random moment of the week here on PW60.
Hello, and it's time for my random, pun intended, moment of the week. Brian's House of Random. Hi. Yes, again, we are back at it. Here on the P to the W to the 6 to the 0, and I've got my What If series coming up again for you right about, let me see, now. And recently, we talked about the late, great Owen Hart. Last week, we talked about his brother, Bret. What if the Montreal Screwjob did not happen in 1997? Now, I want to fast forward about 2 years later, during Bret's time in World Championship Wrestling. And he still talks about it to this day, as we know. The infamous match with Goldberg, where he came off the ropes, took a super kick, basically, in essence, directly to the head, and ended up with a major concussion, ending his career. So, quite simply, one of the big what ifs in wrestling, and I'll ask you this now. Comment below, let us know, what if Bret Hart was not injured in that match with Goldberg and had to retire, in essence? How much longer do you think he would have been active? What do you think the rest of his in-ring career would have been like? Would he have been there all the way to the end of WCW, then purchased or brought into the WWF at that time? What do you think? Comment, let me know. Have a good one.
Ooh, I like that question because Bret Hart's my guy. So, oh, Brian, you always got us thinking, buddy. We love you, buddy. And you know who else we love here on PW60, Mr. B-Roll? I think you do. It's our wrestling content creators. And this week, our Ruby Ringside wrestling content creator is one AEW Handmade Arenas. Now, if you haven't watched them or checked out their channel, give them a follow over on TikTok. They make some pretty impressive arenas for action figures, man. It's pretty dope, man. Check out like some of these pictures from this All-In arena they did recently, man. It's pretty awesome. And you can find them over on TikTok, among other social media sites. So go give AEW Handmade Arenas a follow because they are Ruby Ringside content creator of the week this week on PW60. Also this week, we found out that AEW Dynamite and Collision will be making their debuts over in the UK as they will be taking place in Cardiff, Wales on an upcoming tour there in August. It's going to be exciting to see. Obviously, it's going to be taped, right? I don't think we're going to be airing it at 3 p.m. on TNT, are we? Because I think that would foul up like a replay of like Captain America Winter Soldier or something they got going on there, right? So can't take away from that, brother. But anyways, still, it's cool to see them, man, overseas. I think that's something AEW's need to do for a while now, to tape some of their stuff over there. And we know that UK crowd is red hot. And B-roll, we got one last story this week here on PW60, and we broke this on Thursday on Learning the Ropes. This is huge for so many reasons. There is a heavy rumor going on there, folks, that the WWE is in talks with the Indiana Sports Complex, or sports, whoever he sees over sports here in Indiana. Let's put it that way. It's tourism, essentially. They're in talks to bring the Royal Rumble 2025 to Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. But this is a multi-year deal that it could go for 7 years. And over that 7-year time frame, Indianapolis will also get a SummerSlam and a WrestleMania to be held at Lucas Oil Stadium, as well as some other premium live events, Raw and SmackDowns, to be hosted at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Like, this to me makes sense on multiple reasons for the WWE to be reaching out to a state to do this. But are you still like me and just flabbergasted? Like, we're the first ones that this is going to happen to, and it's just like insane to think like, wow, Indianapolis is going to get a freaking WrestleMania and a Royal Rumble and a SummerSlam.
I just look at those words and I see WrestleMania, and then below it I see Indianapolis. And
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing to behold.
And the thing is, we know our city, what they're capable of, and how this would work so well. Because here's the thing, folks, here in the Midwest, like Indianapolis is a great spot for stuff like this. We're an hour from Louisville, we're an hour from Cincinnati, 4 hours from Chicago, 5 hours from Detroit. I mean, you do the math; it makes sense. It's very local. We're going to get a ton of people coming into this, and cannot freaking wait. Let's go. And I think maybe a little thank you to Pat McAfee possibly for helping get this deal going as well. Like a shout out to him. But nonetheless, dude, this is huge. I think you're going to see more deals like this happen in the WWE. But the fact that it's happening in our home state, it's pretty damn exciting to see.
And hey, yeah,
I don't know.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
There you go. That's
tonight.
Right. We're always going to be in Indianapolis tonight. So there you go. May announce it tonight. Who knows? Well, folks, let's go wrap it up for this week's episode of Pro Wrestling 60. Can't wait to see what happens next week, folks. I'm XLJ, the OG, joined by Mr. B-Roll, and we'll see you on another episode of PW60. Everybody have an awesome week. And enjoy Forbidden Door this Sunday. Bye.